and the FYG like equal, but the upper hand will go to, for my mind, the FYG.
I'm rooting for Vamos, so I wish them all the best. I wish both teams the best, and yeah.
Good. With this draft, which is more forgiving if mistakes happen?
VMS. Yeah.
Soldier?
BMS.
BMS.
I'm with you now.
Yeah.
So if both teams play perfectly, you think VMS will win? They will take the win?
If both teams will play perfectly, and the scenario in my mind will happen, the FYG.
FYG.
Yeah.
And you?
VMS definitely.
VMS.
All the way.
We will see during the game.
So drafts are locked in for Game 3. The deciding game, pressure is high, plans are set, and now it's all about the execution. Let's send it over to our casters for the deciding battle.
And here we are indeed with a deciding battle between DFYG and Vamos Super Ken now on the Hayabusa Error 404 on the Yisenshin. The junglers for both teams. Nice to do you like what we have come game number 3.
I'm glad we got a game 3, man. I'll put it that way. You know, we had a bunch of sweeps in the previous 2 days. Well, for play-ins, when things are now a little more spicy, I'm glad we're getting game 3s. And I think if you look at both drafts, you know, like our panel mentioned, I think you could say, like, yeah, in a way, let them go to the late game here a little bit, right? If they get to the late game, though, both these lineups have the potential to go ahead and shine more than the other. And a big part of Team Vamos' lineup is, once again, are they able to go ahead and utilize the amount of crowd control they have? Zorn, when he played the Guinevere earlier, like, he was able to do it. You know, he was able to actually go ahead and set things up with the spatial migration. He's very aggressive, and I think that's what makes Zorn, like, always a fun roam to watch. He is one of those roamers that, you know, people really tend to talk about or watch when it comes to the international scene. And, you know, part of that, too, is the scaling. Like, their scalability, like we've talked about Akimi for so long, since she's been in that mid lane meta for so long now, you know that she can provide a ton of damage, and Traction Pulse is great. I think for Team Vamos, though, it's also just making sure that the early game doesn't go to DFYG, because Hayabusa, for example, or even a better game with the Lapu Lapu for Vel could actually be quite devastating in these earlier fights, depending on how they go for it. A Dragon Form is going to be used. Zoning out Super Ken, though, from this turtle pit, but he's going to go back, trying to get Zorn out if he can. He pops the Shadow Kill, does get the first blood. Air 404 will be able to secure it to the turtle, but he finally falls as Vel picks up a kill. The trading across the board, though, an objective secured for Team Vamos.
I believe the DFYG are the happier team to come out of that, especially because Super Ken really outplayed Vamos. He went for the Shadow, went out, and then got back in, got a kill onto Zorn. That's the first blood. And I think that's well worth it in exchange for the turtle, especially from a jungler's perspective. And the bonus that they got from that is to be able to kill Era 404. Like this time, we can see Zed utilizing this Hilda properly in a way that he was able to out the damage, then flicker out. There were so many baits that the FYG were able to do in that exchange. I would still feel, though, that Team Vamos has got an easier lineup to execute, especially because this last pick, Esmeralda, again, has so much value. Great versus the Lapu Lapu. We already know that. But then you add in the Harith as well as the Hilda. Natko will have a great time later on, and that's something that DFYG should be prepared about.
I mean, part of that, too, is, again, if you look at Team Vamos' lineup, you know, what can you take here for the Valentina? The most value over here is probably the Black Dragon form, or what else could you take that actually would help DFYG's case when it comes to having a Valentina?
Yeah, I think just the
Dragon form, no?
Dragon form. Yeah, but problem is if you overextend, it can actually work badly for you. So you gotta be careful there if you're E1.
E1?
E1, yeah, right. And Super Ken is still very impressive with his jungle, though.
Yeah, I think of this, too, is just the amount of time that we're seeing it take for a Harith to build up now, scale up. I would say a majority of these Harith games that we've been watching now for the past couple of days here, Wolf, I don't know. I don't know if we're still going to see Harith picked up a ton as the days and weeks go by here. It just seems like it does take a little bit too long to build up. Air 404 is going to be able to secure this second turtle pretty easily. Whoa, a mountain shot. Holding on to the Black Dragon form. Doesn't even get to use it. Yi1 deleted quickly under the turret too. Putting some pressure here in that tier 1 mid. But man, Team Vamos still have an easy kill and a pickup for an objective.
That's the problem with somehow a double-edged sword to copy the usual ultimate, because yeah, you're fairly weak and you don't have the double dash anymore for the fight. That's why he was knocked down even after popping the ultimate, and also didn't have the purify. That's why Team Vamos have picked up a great kill. In fact, Vamos are leading with 600 gold. As we mentioned, they have an easier lineup to execute. Natko already has the enchanted talisman. It will take only a while before we get to see him with the Oracle, which then makes it so that DFYG will not have enough of a firepower to eventually take out Natko. DFYG needs to really ramp up now. They really need to make a play. Otherwise, Team Vamos will just easily take over this game.
We'll see what happens. I know it's just a very small lead for now. DFYG still potentially can turn it around here. Not letting that play out a little bit further. So, I don't even... I think for the third turtle, DFYG, if they can kind of get into the position where they have a favorable one, and maybe that's a kill off of Super Ken if he's able to get a shadow kill off of this, just like this against Air 4-4. Wow! Happens as soon as I mentioned it. Now Black Dragon form going to be used to pick up Yi1. And Super Ken's pretty low, so they might still put pressure on the purple buff here. A spatial migration combo from Zorn. They're going to put it for Zed. Double kill for Sizka. A massive pickup and just a great game for Sizka already on this Yuzhong. It's so devastating to deal with the Yuzhong scaling up this fast.
Yeah, this is back-to-back games coming up from Sizka. He's played so well. Actually turned the fight around. That would have been great. Of course, Super Ken is able to get a pick off, but in comes the fray. Air 404. Ooh! Esmeralda misses, and Super Ken collects the kill before getting out. He is taken out eventually. That's the fourth straight kill for Sizka. Might not have the Yisenshin now, but with the turtle up, they will just kind of take it.
And Sizka is eating good, man. 4-0-0. He's gonna scale up so much faster than you traditionally would on Yuzhong here. And once that Petrify is available, this should actually be a pretty easy turtle for them to take. He does pop it. Yi1 using the Mountain Shocker actually going to force this fight. Anyway, Arrow 404 actually dies, so a good play there. But now they got to deal with Sizka jumping in for Yi1. He's going to chase him down. The shot distance is there, but Super Ken actually going to be able to join the fight instead.
No.
Now Natko will kill Long, and they're still going back and forth. Sizka, though, is going to have to be careful not to take too much. He'll heal back up a little bit. This turtle's still for the taking, but Super Ken will go grab his buff. Clockhoon picking up that Sky Piercer now, though. So all of that might have gotten DFYG their first turtle of the game, this last one, as it's secured by Super Ken.
Pretty scrappy fight for both teams, as Air 404 was left alone. Sizka went for the dangerous grass play around the turtle pit, where he popped the ultimate but did not find anyone. Had it been that they connected with the Mountain Shocker Extra Vision, then Sizka would not have wasted his ultimate on essentially nothing but grass. Could have been good for Team Vamos, but there's just some miscoordination out there. That's why Air 404 eventually got taken out, but Natko punishing Long once again. Long popped the Salmon Force in front of the Esmeralda. One of the capital mistakes, cardinal errors that we can do against the Esmeralda as the Harry.
Zorn setting things up again. Zed, quite tanky though. Should be fine. And that's why we see that Esmeralda pop up so much, from draft to draft. Teams really leaning towards Esmeralda, whether that's in the gold lane or XP lane. Like, we've seen both. It's just kind of annoying to deal with, and you kind of have the freedom to do what you want in a way until the proper items or that, enough of that burst is there to deal with an Esmeralda right now. But the fact that you have an Esmeralda this way, but then at the same time, Sizka is having the game he is on this Yuzhong, it's really difficult to win some of these fights, depending on how it actually breaks out. And like I said, most of them are happening here with Super Ken being able to dish out quite a bit of damage on this Hayabusa. But Well, traction pulse thrown out, spatial migration, Requiem combo, Vel falling here in the mid lane, getting caught here. And that's one of the things you have to watch out for with a Guinevere across from you.
Get out of there. Zorn picking up where he left off. Game number 2, wasn't as clean as game number 2, but Team Vamos are slowly finding steam once again, leading by 1,000 gold. They're already zoning out the members of DFYG up top so that they can naturally push it. It's gonna be the turret down. Try to put pressure on the Super Ken, but Super Ken might be forced to pop the retribution. No, he won't. And because of that, Zorn gets his purple buff. You see, Team Vamos are pressuring Super Ken to pop the retry so that the Lord Fight will be in their favor.
Yep.
It turns out they get even more of that because now they get the purple buff on Zorn.
Yeah, so he can just go ahead and spatial migration a little bit more here if he doesn't land the one he wants to. So this is actually a pretty big risk for DFYG to go ahead and start playing around the extra grass that they have here, the extra bush. They'll keep Zed there on the Hilda. At least try to control this space here against Team Vamos. And like I said, even with this kind of lead that Team Vamos has, 2,000 gold ahead. There's the jump in from Zorn. Requiem going to be used as well. And now it's going to try to get away, but Vel will flick around forward and not go chasing him down. A sliver of health. And also Zed trying to run away from this. Not go will be able to hold up that front side. This is an opening now for Team Vamos to go ahead and secure this Lord unless somehow, some way, Super Ken can get in position to potentially steal this. He does jump in, gets thrown into the air, knocked into the air. Again, a Petrify from Siska. 6-0-1, a massive game once again with this Yu Zhong here. Lord secured, team fight secured for Team Vamos.
Oh, Team Vamos out of the trap. DFYG sprung it so easily. They know that eventually when the Lord is too low, DFYG will do everything just to get that retribution up. Super Ken making that play with the dash, of course, with the shadow kill, but because of that, you can see that Team Vamos were so much prepared. The stun was already waiting in the wings. They know they have the knockup. They know they have the control against Super Ken. Not only did they get the Lord, they also get 3 kills on top of that, increasing their lead to 4.6k at just 11 minutes in. They might even be able to push the bottom lane turret easily.
See how they handle this push with the Lord. Again, both teams here facing elimination right now through Games of the Future, and Team Vamos with a healthy lead in this Lord pushing in. They might just win it even off this first push. A Black Dragon form going to be used by Siska just to keep them at bay. They secure themselves that base turret, now knocking down at the tier 2 in the mid. They still have the work to do up top as well, so DFYG will go ahead and defend, take out the Lord. And Team Vamos, despite this lead, will take things a little bit slower just to stay disciplined, take out these tier 2 turrets, potentially take some base turrets down too, or at least do some damage to them. But right now, they're just happy with the one push down on bot.
12 minutes and you get the inhibitor. I think that's a big reason to be happy for Team Vamos, but job's not done yet. They really need to secure this. We'll be waiting for 70 more seconds before the next Lord spawns. And I think the next target now for Team Vamos is to deny that purple buff away from Super Ken. They have positioned their pieces around it already, just waiting for it to spawn. Eventually, the Yi Sun Shin will get to that position. While that's happening, Zorn is actually scouting out where the FYG members are.
Yeah, they have, I mean, even for...
Look at the position from Esmeralda, the extra push from Dangerous Grasp.
Oh, no. Yeah. Natko's, though, he's going to be fine. Again, there's so much this Esmeralda can do. You know, it doesn't really... like, if you are going to wait patiently in one of these bushes here, the Dangerous Grass, like, Natko is the guy to go give the information. Doesn't necessarily have to be Zorn here, and that's one of the advantages of having this Esmeralda on this lineup. You know, you can kind of do this all day, man, and that's what Natko wants to do. Very different, you know, than every single time that you see these gold laners do get a chance to play the Esmeralda. Maybe it's a little freeing for them. Like, they're like, okay, yeah, I get to play a very different game than what I normally do in the gold lane with a traditional marksman.
Yeah. Team Vamos, Iridian armor up on Natko. They will start the Lord very easy, very quickly. Zorn already started them out and into the prey.
Oof. Okay, Lord secure though, so that was all a distraction they'll just go for the reset, get ready to march towards the base here of DFYG once again. And I don't know, Wolf. I think, you know, with this case in game 3, 7,000 behind, and really Super Ken's kind of initial advantage that he had on the high boost, especially early on, has kind of waned a little bit. And now, you know, you're looking to see where that point of contention is going to be with this composition. And unfortunately, Long just isn't there yet. Black Dragon form going to be used, pushing them off of this top base turret as the Lord has to be dealt with on the bottom. A stun with a Petrify too. Vel is gone so quickly once again. Lord finally being worked on, but he did clear out the wave. So DFYG, just with the health, or just with the life of Vel, they stay in the game off that Lord push. They still have a few pushing waves powered up for Team Vamos. They're going to go for this mid turret, not go, keeping them cut off from that turret. And Zed might gone a little bit too far there as Clockun picks up a kill. Base turret's going to fall. They have that one cannon minion. They're going to lock onto the base, and they have to do everything they can to stay in the game. DFYG will be able to take out Siska. That's a big pickup and a successful defense for DFYG to face off against Team Vamos, staying in this game 3.
That's enough for Team Vamos to just get out of there in this elimination match. They're literally one win away from advancing into the quarterfinals, and seems like they are leading by so much that they can afford to prolong this game even further. And to be fair, I would agree. I think it's much better for them to just get out. Natko has to get away from this though. That's the flicker.
Whoa, the damage! Clockun with the Wind of Nature too. He's almost able to get away. A good attempt there, but at least the turnaround is something that DFYG needed to happen here. Catching out Clockun, even getting a couple flickers, not goes as well. This might be a small opening for DFYG to make something happen. Now Arrow 404,
no.
He's actually going to get caught out here too, as Long picks up a kill, and now it's Nocco in trouble. Super Ken picks up another. What is happening to Team Vamos?
Oh no, Team Vamos. Overconfident, overstaying as well, getting outplayed, outmaneuvered in that part of the map. They definitely did not expect that death push play coming out from DFYG. Now they have lost all of their core members, will lose their outer turret in the mid lane. Long posing for another push, but the defense will be there from Zorn as well as Siska. E1 might not be enough to get a push up.
Oh,
I has to get away now.
Oh, he does. The Terrify comes in clutch there. Zorn has immortality, but is he going to burn his flicker as well? Clockun there, quite low. Siska is going to jump in. Super Ken, not sure if he's going to commit to this. He gets knocked into the air. What a stun! A spatial migration. They were waiting for that moment for Super Ken to move forward, and that is unfortunate. Bad timing, too, as now the Lord is up for Team Vamos.
Oh my goodness, what a way to outplay Super Ken out there. DFYG are already outplaying Team Vamos. In fact, they have forced the Dragon form, they have forced the immortality onto Clockun. They have all the tools for them to get this Lord, but Super Ken just stumbles because of the outplay from Team Vamos.
So tough. I don't know if they can delay this, Wolf. They're going to try Zed, trying to get an angle here, but he's going to be zoned in, zoned down, and taken down. Arrow 404 will pick up a kill. Clockun picks up the Wind of Nature again after using it earlier on. They'll be able to secure this Lord off of that. And that is a good play to solidify the objective for Team Vamos after a shaky last couple minutes.
Oh. Now, I gotta say, for DFYG, they tried to buy the time for Super Ken to be there, and almost were enough time, but Team Vamos making any extra movements out there, just focusing on taking the Lord and punishing whoever is in front. Did not overextend to get a kill onto E1 as well as Long, because they know that they can end this with just their raw power. Just, you know, their lead has been down to 3,000, but this is more than doable. Might be able to push up top, and then the last push for Team Vamos commences.
Last push potentially here. They're going to go for this Black Dragon form already used. Arrow 404 trying to get away. Vel is low in there. Clockun picks up the kill. Lord's going to be actually cleared out and worked on, and Natko splitting them up, but Clockun gets a double. And now they're going to go a little bit further. Natko's immortality is going to be popped here. Long going for that cleanup kill, but can't solidify. Taken out Natko, but still, DFYG still defends 19 minutes into this game 3.
Not letting up. This is an elimination match, and Super Ken is throwing everything. Almost have won against Onyx yesterday in a 30-minute match. I'll not be surprised if they can prolong this even further. You can see the heart from Super Ken. Let's see if they can defend for more. Team Vamos seems like they wanted to make a play.
They do get the Purify out. Again, a Black Dragon up to lead them all, but Siska's feeling the damage now. Natko's going to be in trouble. He gets caught out with Landshaker stunned in his tracks. DFYG is not going home so easily. They'll take it past the 20-minute mark here in Game 3. And Team Vamos is wondering that too. Like, man, we're so close so many times, but we can't end it. Even with all the base turrets of DFYG down, they still hold on.
Fortunately, no battles for Natko to save himself out there. Team Vamos tried to make another play, even when they didn't have to. They tend to wait for the next Lord to spawn. But I think it's a good heat check against DFYG. To be fair, Natko will respawn long enough that the Lord will be available when he is up once again. And I think the Team Vamos can actually afford to lose their top lane turret. They have all of the lanes pushed naturally because of the super minions that they have anyways. And if they don't make any extra moves right now, they can easily play the map in their favor. But here they are, Dragons are permitted.
They want to fight. They know that down bot is Super Ken, so this is going to be a fight they want to take. Team Vamos will take out Yi1. They're going to be looking for more. Knocked into the air. Yell has immortality. He's trying to get away through the wall. He goes. Super Ken joining the fight. Long has so much shields here. This is Natko, though, leading that charge. Mount Shocker is going to be able to find a Zed. Zed bombing a weave in, but will go down to Error 404, and they'll make their way to the Lord to solidify a potential Game 3. This is going to be much tougher to deal with now that it's an evolved Lord.
Oh, what a play coming out from Team Vamos. Instead of they should not be doing any extra moves, but they have identified that there's no threat. The Hayabusa is in the bottom lane. It will take a while before he gets there. He knows, Siska knows that with this Warcry built on the Yuzhong, he has a one-hit potential against E1, who is now only rocking the Purify.
Once again, Siska going to lead that front. Black Dragon form. Vel jumps in with the Bravest Fighter. Zaman force drop down 2. They're going to clear this out. Yi1 looking for an ultimate to take. He's just going to go in with the Terrify and keeps Natko at bay. And now Vel trying to run here. Once again, defensive items being switched out. Oh, he picks up an immortality just in time as well. He's going to heal back at the Fountain with the Lord now. They got to deal with this, and Zorn jumps in. A spatial migration. Super Ken is gone. A massive play and a decision from Zorn. Can they win the fight? They've already lost 3. This is a big defense for DFYG. And despite Zorn's play, DFYG will stay in it. They'll clear out the waves and the Lord.
Was the massive play coming out from Zorn. I thought it was instrumental to the victory of DFYG, but if you think about it, the Hayabusa is not that important when it comes to the defense. It's more of a distraction at this point, and when they tried to go in, all in, they got caught into the backlines with Vel dealing the damage, and as well as Valentina. Valentina, we have already forgotten how much damage this mage can actually deal in a team fight, and we are reminded of how strong a Valentina could be, especially when he's dealing AoE damage. Yi1 salvaging this team. And Super Ken might have been a great target for Team Vamos, but they were so tunnel vision into taking down that Hayabusa. The moment that Zorn caught him, and everybody from Team Vamos just went in, took the beeline towards where Super Ken is. And what generally happened was that we're clumped up together. Vel managed to land a good ultimate combo, dealing enough damage to an AoE, and then of course E1 was there to clean up.
Man, look at the items here. There's so much juggling between these, these Winter Crowns, the Wind of Natures, of course. But hats off to DFYG staying into this game for multiple minutes now, 8+ minutes up to this point. When Team Vamos first entered the base. And you got to remember they were at one point down 7, almost 8,000 gold.
That's right.
In this Game 3, and yes, the gold doesn't really matter at this point. It's more so of just switching in those defensive items when they need it at the right moment. But what DFYG has been able to do is stay in the game and now actually be in a position to potentially contest this Lord. The biggest thing for them is they don't want to get caught in a position they don't want to with what's across from them. Again, that is still Siska for the most part, right? Siska and
Good
Zorn.
display.
They got to be
Zorn
careful.
and Zorn and Ken
They're going to go
making
for the
play.
backside. They're going to go for this back lane push. E1 popping the winner crown. Super Ken takes out Nocto. They're trying to get away. A couple flickers burned here too. And 404 is gone. This is a massive turnaround for DFYG. They're going to go for Siska. He's trying to run. They can actually start up this Lord. He's doing what he can. Siska actually still alive. And it's DFYG to chase down. Meanwhile, Zed chasing Zorn. Siska finally goes down, but they get 4 kills for DFYG. And with a full force team, they can run it down mid with this wave pushing in. This is massive. What can Zorn do? But just watch. A shadow kill going to be used, but with this wave pushing in and the full team.
Oh, man.
With E1 clearing out the waves, DFYG did that. They did the comeback. They made it happen, and they send Team Vamos home in Games of the Future 2025.
And they already knew nicely. They took out their headsets because they know that with TikTok timers,